What's going on? This is Big Chief from G-Riders and welcome to another episode of Testing Rides. Today, I'm going to be testing out the 2021 Ford Explorer Limited all-wheel drive. Welcome to the 2021 Ford Explorer. This generation of the Ford Explorer was introduced for its 6th generation for the 2020 model year. So the big news with this Ford Explorer is it went from a front-wheel drive car-based platform to a rear-wheel drive car-based platform, which kind of changed the way this car drives and handles on the road and kind of changed around some packaging things on this car. So I'm really glad that they decided to do that. So the new Ford Explorer kind of took two vehicles and combined it into one vehicle. So the previous Ford Explorer had to compete directly with like the Ford Flex. So for the 2020 model year, Ford got rid of the Ford Flex altogether, and when they came out with the new Explorer, they just decided to combine it into two vehicles. So the Explorer is more of the higher riding SUV, and the Ford Flex is kind of the lower, longer wagon. And the styling of this new Ford Explorer kind of looks like a combination of both, except they got rid of the extremely boxy styling, but kept the pretty decent third row seating and then a lot of the practical features that an SUV like this, what a third row seat should have. So that's pretty awesome. So they also, in the generational change, got rid of the naturally aspirated V6 as an optional engine. So now the only the three engines that you can get on this car is the 2.3 liter turbocharged engine, the 3.3 liter hybrid V6, and also you can also get the twin turbo 2.7 liter V6 that comes in the ST model. But on the limited trim, you can get a 2.3 turbo or the 3.3 liter hybrid motor. This is the 2021 Ford Explorer, and all Ford Explorers come standard with a 2.3 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, making 300 horsepower and 300 foot-pounds of torque. Because this vehicle is all-wheel drive, unlike the last one that I reviewed was a rear-wheel drive, but this one is all-wheel drive. This one does weigh over 4,300 pounds. And despite the 4,300 pounds, and it's nice they moved to the 4-cylinder, and it has the 10-speed automatic transmission, this car does get a very reasonable 20 in the city and 27 out on the highway, which is actually not too bad for an SUV of this size with a 4-cylinder to get that type of gas mileage and also have the decent amount of power and pull that this has. But you gotta love the torque of a turbocharged motor. So this is the 2021 Ford Explorer, and the Ford Explorer starts at about just over $33,000, and you get a couple cool things like you get the standard 8-inch infotainment Ford Sync system with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and you get like the Pro Pilot Assist stuff, and I believe you get that on the low model. If it's different, I'll put it down in the lower thirds. But this is a mid-range limited model, which comes with some better stuff. Like it comes with you know, the basic heated and cooled seats, heated steering wheel, push button start, keyless access system, and power folding mirrors, and lots of things like that. But this one has I believe it's two option packages on it. I believe it's called either the 401A or the 701A. I can't remember here. I'll have to look. I'll put it in the lower thirds of which it is here. But that is a $700 option. And what comes to that package, it comes with power folding third row seats, and it also comes with the foot activated tailgate. Just kick your foot under the bumper and it opens up. And I have to admit, Ford's foot-activated tailgate is the best of the market. I know all the SUVs are starting to put that on a lot of the other competitors are putting that on their cars now, but Ford has managed to have the best one out of all of them, which I think is pretty awesome. I mean, they've been doing it since 2013, so it better be good, right? So, this also has the $1,700 optional twin pane panoramic sunroof, which is really nice because I love having a sunroof in a car, and I feel like with an SUV like this, it just makes it feel a lot more airy and open when you have the sunroof and when you have the panoramic sunroof in here. But with those two option packages, this car is just under $51,000, and honestly, that's about average for the amount of equipment that this car has and the quality of the interior and everything, the build quality and everything, and the size. That's honestly about average. Actually did some price comparison compared to some of the other market, like particularly the Korean brand, so like the Hyundai Palisade and the Kia Telluride, and this is kind of right on par with almost their top trims in terms of pricing, but not in terms of equipment. But I haven't driven a Palisade or Telluride, so I'm not going to comment too much on what those are like. But from what I've heard, they're nice. But this Explorer is pretty decent on the interior as well. Couple things I'm a little salty about this 2020 model year. So I know that a lot of people don't love paddle shifters, but when a car has the type of driving attitude that this Explorer has, it's kind of nice to have the paddle shifters. You could get paddle shifters as an option, and also I believe that comes with some high performance brakes as well. But it's really annoying that you don't get paddle shifters, because sometimes, you know, when I want to drive sporty, I love to be able to manually upshift and downshift with that 10-speed automatic transmission. So that's my only like small bit of saltiness on this car that I wish this car had, especially at this price point. But this car has everything that you would want and need to have on a car at this price point. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the interior of the 2021 Ford Explorer. All right, welcome to the walk around portion of the 2021 Ford Explorer. I'm trying something a little different here, trying the point of view situation, and let me know in the comment section below of what do you think about this. But take a look at the new Ford Explorer. The new Explorer looks really nice. Like I did review a 2020 Ford Explorer during the summer. It was a rear-wheel drive 2020 model year, but this one looks pretty much the same. I think the new Ford Explorer looks pretty nice. It kind of looks like the pre-facelift current generation Range Rover. I think it looks really awesome in that way, and it doesn't look like overly mean. Like a lot of the SUVs nowadays are looking like overly aggressive, and it's kind of nice that Ford kind of made it look really good and stylish without making it like overly mean. So coming on to the side, the new Explorer is a pretty long vehicle overall. Like they changed the dimension on the Ford Explorer, because like I said before in the previous section, they had got rid of the Ford Flex, so they had to combine the Explorer and the Flex into one car. So they decided to make this one a little bit longer, and I like the new kind of wheelbase and length of the new Explorer. I think it looks really good. So it's kind of nice. On the limited version, you do come with, unless you're getting a higher model, I believe, you get the black mirror caps. I think that looks really nice, especially with this magnetic gray interior. So coming up on the side here, if we take a look, you do have this car does have the 360 system. So there's the camera in the mirror. There's also one right under the badge there. I think that's pretty dope that these come with that. And then you see up top, you got the sunroof. All right, so these are the stock 20-inch wheels that come on the Ford Explorer. Honestly, I don't like them. If I bought this car, to be real with you, I'll just end up buying some aftermarket wheels and throwing those on, because honestly, the other optional 20-inch wheels, like the rear-wheel drive model that I reviewed during this last summer the summer of 2020 that rim design is not much better than these ones, to be real. Honestly, I would just save my money and just get aftermarket ones after the fact. But that's just me. All right, coming around to the rear, this looks like same old Ford Explorer. It kind of looks really similar to the last generation Ford Explorer. But as you can see, you look like you got some exhaust pipes there. But guess what? Those things are fake. It actually exits out of the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the car up here. So let me see if it put out some. No, it's not gonna do that. But it actually exits out the bottom, and I think that's kind of stupid. I'll put a picture of it here. But come on, Ford. Like, I don't see the point in that. Like, give us some real exhaust pipes. All right, so coming on the side, it's the same as before. The last Ford Explorer actually pretty nicely had the gas on the passenger side, but since this is a new generation, they put it on the opposite side. So, you know, whatever. All right, let's take a look at the inside of the 2021 Ford Explorer. So, kind of cool what they changed with the 2020 from the previous generation. There's like no, like the notches are kind of gone, so they just have this little part here where you lock to hit it, and then when you unlock, you grab the door handle and the mirrors unfold. Before, the power folding mirrors would unfold when you turn the car on, so they kind of changed that around for the 2020 model year. But this is the interior of the 2021 Ford Explorer. Welcome to the interior of the 2021 Ford Explorer. So starting over here, the interior of the new Ford Explorer is really nice. You got some decent soft touch materials. The dash was pretty nice, but you do have some cheaper plastics that surround the dash there. It's not that big of a deal. You're not really touching this part of the car very much, but it is there and you do notice it. But they're not necessarily like cheap, really scratchy plastics like you'll find in kind of lower model Korean cars with anything like that. The steering wheel is really nice. So this does have the Pro Pilot Assist with the lane keep system. So basically, it centers you in your lane and it goes around. The car kind of steers itself around curves and things like that up to a certain speed and up to like a certain angle. There's a lot of curves that are way too steep for that system. I've noticed. I try to use it a lot, but there's some curves that were just too steep, and by the time like you realize it, you know, you'll be kind of going off and you'll have to intervene anyway. So that was kind of one of my gripes with that system, but for the most part it's pretty decent. With the stop and go features of it, the stop and go feature of it is really nice. It works really well, and you know, it's nice. But the steering wheel design is really nice, and it is heated, and you have the heated and cold seats and heated steering wheel. I love that part. You know, it's a little chilly here in Oregon in the winter, so it's nice to have that. Moving over to the middle, the center console here, you got your basic HVAC systems there. You know, they cut down on buttons quite a bit. I remember I gave the last Ford Explorer a hard time with how many buttons it had. There were way too many buttons and it's not as busy anymore, which is really nice. For the infotainment, you got your basic knobs there. I like those kind of knurled style knobs. Your seek buttons, your forward flashes, parking sensors, and your camera button. And this does have the 360 camera, and you can press the button when you're parking and you can change the different angle and all that. So if I click that, you can change, just see the front, or you can see it like a more fisheye, like if you're pulling out of a parking lot or something like that and can't really see past spot. You can just click that button and it pulls up, so you can pull out a little bit safer. All right, moving down to the middle, this does have the 10-speed automatic transmission, so like that means since it's a modern. All right, welcome to the 2021 Ford Explorer driving portion. Let's go ahead and head on the road and see how this thing drives. So, one thing I'm going to do first is I'm going to kick this thing over into sport mode, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a boot. So as you can see, 2021 Ford Explorer is a pretty decently quick vehicle. So this one has this does have the 300 horsepower and 310 foot-pounds of torque out of the 2.3 liter inline 4-cylinder, and this is similar to the motor that's found in cars like the Mustang and things like that. So this motor is in a lot of different vehicles, and I'm really glad that they decided to put this 4-cylinder in this 2021 Ford Explorer as kind of the standard engine, just because, you know, honestly, that V6 was just too old for the modern day. A lot of other crossovers like this use a lot more modern engines that get relatively good gas mileage and with decent power and torque and things like that. And that V6 just didn't have it. And honestly, that V6 would get absolutely terrible gas mileage, and I'm kind of glad it's gone. So welcome to the driving portion of the 2021 Ford Explorer. And when you hop on the road of the Ford Explorer, the first thing that you notice is this Ford Explorer is a very smooth, very decently quiet car to drive. Like, so I'm going to talk about this now. So I set up nice and high, and it's nice up high, and I can see the corners of the SUV. The view out of the windows are pretty nice. The mirrors are a decent size because the last Ford Explorer's mirrors were hilariously small. But I just like the ride. So you're sitting above the dash in this car, which is really nice. But sometimes it can get weird angles with the gauge cluster, but for the most part, it's pretty nice. Overall, kind of the driving, the greenhouse and the driving kind of up here in the cabin is really nice, really comfortable. So we'll get into some corners here. Let's go ahead and put it back over to sport mode, and I can explain to you what's so great about this Explorer. So this Ford Explorer is now on a rear-wheel drive bias platform. So what that means is it really changed the handling characteristic of this new Explorer. So this Explorer used to handle like, just used to understeer like kind of a big front-wheel drive car, but now I can feel the rear doing a lot of work when you're going around corners quickly. Like, I'm not going to be going around corners too quick in this video, but I have did some in my driving. That's what I've experienced, and I think that it changes my attitude with this car. I've always loved the Explorer, but I never thought it handled particularly well. And now with this new kind of setup, it now handles very well. And honestly, I would say it handles really similar to what like a Dodge Durango handles, because I think the Dodge Durango is one of the better handling traditional like SUV this size experiences. So, you know, it's a rear-wheel drive platform. Honestly, the Durango is just basically like a big Charger SUV, and this kind of handles a lot like that. So with that, this car does have a pretty sporty ride. It's not uncomfortable, but it's sporty. You can have a sporty ride without it being harsh and uncomfortable. Ford managed to do that with this car, and I'm glad that they did. So this car does ride really nice. A lot of modern standards of a ride. Cars can't be soft and squishy anymore. They have to have some type of firmness and some type of sportiness to them to kind of make it in kind of the way consumers are buying SUVs nowadays. Even trucks don't feel as like squishy and soft and boaty and floaty like cars used to. Like, you know, if you drive a new 4Runner, that car is purpose built for off-roading, so that's why it handles like that. But cars that are mainly developed to be on the road handle just a little bit sporty, and I think that's really nice. And this Explorer handles just like it should in the modern era to make it as a crossover this size. So, a couple annoying things. The start-stop system is it has kind of a delay. I wish they would have maybe paired the hybrid system with the start-stop, so like it's less of a delay when you let off the brake for the car to start and get going. But honestly, I'm not going to complain too much about it, because I know there's things that you can plug into your car out there. If you hate the start-stop system, you can deactivate it. It's not that hard to do that, and not that difficult to figure out how to do that. So so that's at least kind of nice. So other complaint I have is I have an opinion that the 10-speed automatic transmission is not really a good match with any of the 4-cylinders. I don't know what it is about it, but it just doesn't match the 4-cylinder very well. Like, and that is the same feeling I'm getting with driving that 4-cylinder in this Explorer. So I complained about the tune not being like 100% done with the 4-cylinder Mustang, and honestly, this Explorer feels just like that, to where like I feel like they need to work out a couple more kinks in the tune with the gearbox, because there are some times where it's a bit clunky when you're starting and stopping, and you get some kind of interesting gear shifts sometimes. But for the most part, it's not that bad. You'll definitely have to. It's definitely an acquired taste in terms of transmission feel. You'll definitely have to, when you drive it, you'll definitely have to kind of see if it works for you or not. But honestly, it is kind of weird, but I could deal with it, because I do like the car overall. I like the car as a whole enough to just deal with that. But also, you know, people that are looking at this car may not be like me, where I drive a lot of different cars, so I can kind of feel that stuff pretty soon out the gate. Going around those couple curves here, steering is average for an SUV like this. It has, like, it's electric steering, like it doesn't have any type of connectivity, but or any really feel, but you know, it's steering, it works well. It gets the car around corners. So my top three things, like, okay, not top three, but so I mean, the real question is here: should you buy one of the new Ford Explorers? There are a lot of really good competitive SUVs in the market nowadays. I mean, I just drove like the Volkswagen Atlas, and I've driven the CX-9 off camera a little bit, and I'll probably have a video of the 2021 of that coming soon. But you know, should you buy the Explorer at $51,000? Is the Explorer worth it? And I would say, so this limited trim is a mid-range model. You get a lot of good stuff on it, but I think that the cost of this SUV should be just a little bit less. I think this car should be more like $48,000 with all the equipment that this one has on it, versus being $51,000 with all this equipment on it. Mainly because the Korean companies, the Korean cars, are kind of crushing in the game right now in terms of value for the money. And you know, you can get a fully loaded Hyundai Palisade calligraphy for about this same amount of money as this cost, and this is not even near the top. But I know the Ford Explorer has a couple other optional engines, so you can get like the twin turbo V6, you can get a hybrid, and you can get other trims, so you can get like the platinum and all that stuff. But those are significantly more expensive on this vehicle, and so significantly more expensive. So I believe like a platinum Explorer costs about $60,000, which is insane, because you're getting really close to getting into like looking into an Aviator, or even like a lot of other luxury crossovers in this space. So I just kind of wish the Explorer was a little bit less money than it is, but you know, a lot of the American brands and stuff is sometimes a little more on the expensive side. I don't know why that is, but that's just the case. But despite the price issue that I have with this car, are there any other issues? No. Besides that, this is a fantastic SUV. It's a very comfortable SUV to drive. It looks pretty nice. It's extremely comfortable. It has a lot of good, a lot of features, safety features, luxury features, comfort features, all that good stuff to make this car a real competitor in the market, even with everything being, even with a lot of the competition getting a little bit more difficult with kind of some of everybody redesigning their SUVs at this point. The Ford Explorer is still really good. I mean, and that's expected. This car just came out last year for the 2020 model year, so you know, I expect no less from Ford. Honestly, if you're looking for a fun to drive, comfortable SUV, you should definitely take a look at the 2020 Ford Explorer, whether you're looking at, you know, a lower model, or you're looking at like a high model ST. The Ford Explorer is a wonderful driving SUV that looks good, offers good safety features, offers a very wide range of engine options, and honestly, you'll find the configuration that works best for you. And that's the one thing I can say about this Ford Explorer, of why it is such a popular vehicle, because you can get like a low stripped down $33,000 base model, or you can go up to a top trim ST with ST2 package, you know, or platinum or something like that, you know, being about $60,000, and you can, there's a lot of in between there. So it's nice that that's even an option in an SUV, where a lot of other makers don't have that option. You get one engine option, or you get like 3 trims that you can even choose, 3 or 4 trims that you can choose from. So it's nice that Ford is offering that. And you know, if you're looking at an SUV, having a lot of choice and options is always a good thing to do. You can never have too many options. Well, you can have too many options, but in terms of like specs and engine options, you can never have too many. Having 3 choices is nice. You know, you have your volume seller, which is this 2.3 liter 4-cylinder. You have your high fuel economy, which is the hybrid version, and then you have your performance one, which is the ST, the twin turbo V6 that has the 400 horsepower. So if you're looking at any of those, you'll be definitely happy with the Ford Explorer. as a choice. So should you buy it, put it on your list, or forget about it? So I think honestly you should put this one on your list, because this does offer some great features, a great driving, a very comfortable experience when driving this vehicle. But the fact of the matter is, it's kind of expensive, and this 10-speed transmission is kind of quirky sometimes. So you'll have to drive it and see if that works for you. So with that said, if you're looking for a fun to drive, pretty good looking, very comfortable SUV, you should definitely take a look at the 2020 Ford Explorer. So if you like this video, hit me with a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, keep riding me. Thanks for watching. Hey GoPro, stop recording.